Well, going back to when we were in the TVL in the Trans Valley League, there's a lot of tradition there. The games were always close. The crowds were always big. And then when we split into this realignment, recently, into the WAC and the TVL, we don't play each other in league anymore. But one of the first things we wanted to do was we wanted to continue that rivalry between the two communities and the schools and the players, and we want to make sure that we can continue that. So we scheduled each other early, week 1, week 2, and it's been awesome. We've had some really good games. They've been close. There really haven't been any blowouts. It's been one way or the other. And like you said, it accumulated last year on that Friday when it came down to that last play. It was either they're in or we're in. It was one play and that was it. So 12-7. So it worked out for us, and I'm glad they're still on our schedule and we can keep that thing going because it is a big rivalry for us.
So Escalon has the history of being one of the best small schools in public, as you stated in your email to me. Under your guidance, Patterson is really working on achieving that same kind of status. In a way, this game has like a playoff-like intensity. Talk a little bit about having that playoff-like intensity in only your second game of the season.
Well, that's what we wanted. We want to try and do that as much as possible with the games that we've scheduled, larger opponents, playoff contenders, that type of thing, because we want to work out all the kinks early when it's not going to affect us. It's going to have that atmosphere of playoffs for us, but it doesn't count us as a league loss or a win. It doesn't count us against elimination from the playoffs and that type of thing. So those are what's going to keep us going and get us better for when it actually comes time to when we have a playoff game and we have some kind of standard, to gauge everything against. And so we like these type of games early because it's not going to hurt us and it's not really going to help us either, but in the long run it will help us. And so if we can keep everything on track and learn from our mistakes in this game, it's going to play out in the end for us on a positive note.
Last week, Patterson averaged over 10 yards a play. Obviously, that's not something that's going to carry on throughout the season. Well, maybe it could, but hopefully, what are some things that you guys have been working on, prepping for Friday's game?
Well, one of the things is prepping is just getting it in the kids' heads that McClatchy and Escalon are very different teams, and while McClatchy was a larger school, the quality of their football program is not going to be up to par as to what Escalon is, and some of their athletes that we're going to see on Friday against Escalon, some of them are bigger, and they're going to be a little bit more intense and be a little bit more angry, especially remembering back to the last time we were in Escalon, and so. Just trying to get in the kids' heads that this is a different team. Last week was a tune-up. We work out some some kinks. You learn from some of the little things. We learn. One of the biggest things that we learn is special teams play. When we had the opening kickoff of our game last Friday, they let it die and sit there dead. Well, at the same time, the first person for us to go up and get it touched it and let it go as well. So we want to learn that. We want to make sure that we fix our end too, because we need to understand to jump on that thing, not just touch it and let it die like it's a punt. So there's little things like that. It worked out for us in that favor, but there's still some things to learn. So getting into their kids' heads that this is a much bigger game now, and it's a much better team, that type of thing. That's probably our biggest thing this week. That and being able to, obviously we want the big play, but when it doesn't happen, we need to be able to move the chains and grind out 3-4 yards here and there instead of going for 10, 15 and getting those big plays all the time.